Hey there! Welcome back to my devlog series about a zombie-slaying roguelite. Let me tell you what I've been up to in the past 2 weeks while the little beastie over here is sleeping. Let's all be very quiet. Anyway, to kick things off, I started with 2 minor improvements. First, I added some details to the 3rd house on Oak Lane. Second, I worked on the hitboxes. I noticed that it's too easy for the zombies to hit the player. Finding the cause for this was actually easy. I gave the player a specific collider for taking damage, but the zombies did not track which collider they hit. So I adjusted the collision in the enemy script to take only the player's polygon collider for dishing out damage. Now you can even run behind the zombies. I'm very happy with how it turned out. Next up was starting to add looting to the game. For this, I first needed to work on the inventory. I looked for a neat tutorial on YouTube and found the video series from Dan Pose. After coding through 5 videos so far, I highly recommend it and will link it down below if you want to check it out yourself. The first 2 videos were about setting up the proper backend where an inventory is created and the script for items is set up. I took most of it into my project, but also added the function that the player gets the loot by pressing E next to a lootable object. The 3rd video built a connection between the inventory in the backend and the hotbar in the UI. Now the stored items are displayed. To test this properly, I created the first lootable object in my game, trash cans. I reworked the trash can sprites I already had by changing the colors a bit. In the Udemy course about pixel art, I recently learned that you can create a more natural color palette if you work with the hue and saturation of a color. Next, I also created an outline of the cans for a highlight that is set active if the player stands next to them. Now we also need some loot we can gather. Remember, while on a supply run, the player wants to gather as many resources as possible to improve the camp with them. The first material is plastic, represented by an empty plastic bottle. After setting it up as a scriptable object and adding it to the trash can, we can now gather it and add it to the hotbar. Back to the tutorial series from Dan Pose, video 4 and 5 were about interacting with the items in the hotbar. We can now move them around and split them in stacks. Here I also added to my script that the amount of loot we get from trash cans is calculated randomly. In the next devlog, I'll add everything needed for the player's backpack inventory. I already created the first bar for the sprite, but I think it still needs more work to also look like a backpack. But the inventory can already be opened and closed by pressing I. Here I also wanted to have sounds and set up my very professional recording stuff again. I took different bags and set it on this. So that's it for today. The little beast is up and needs a walk. Before I'm signing off, a big thank you again for the subs, likes and nice comments. I'm glad you're enjoying this project as much as I am. Leave a sub if you want to catch the next devlog. See you then!